Yeah, my screen is visible.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start off with Java, and in between we'll move to object-oriented programming. See, your whole curriculum is based on Java. So this Java was programming language first released by Sun Microsystem, and the person was James Gosling. Right, he started off with this programming language. Source code is compiled. Whatever source code you write, it is passed on to the compiler. It's converted to bytecode. Now, in other programming languages, you get an exe, executable. In Java, you don't get an executable. Instead, you get a bytecode. That bytecode is targeting a virtual environment. Right? It's like a CPU inside CPU. It is targeting a virtual environment. So that makes your complete Java application platform independent, because if you install this virtual environment on any other operating system, your program will be as much workable. So what exactly Java provides us with? Java provides us with an application development environment that is platform independent, targets the machine, targets the virtual machine and not the actual operating system. And then there are other important features like it is object oriented, platform independent, simple, secure, portable, robust, multi-threaded, and there is this process of garbage collection that is automatic in nature. Now, if you look at the first feature itself, the complete Java as an application is object-oriented. Right? Whatever code you have to write, that is, it has to be object-oriented in nature. So there are many methodologies for writing programs. One of them is object-oriented programming. Another one is procedural programming. Are we aware of object-oriented programming? Any one of us? Are we aware of object-oriented programming? Ramchand, Ramchandu, hello.
Yes, sir.
Are we aware of object-oriented programming?
Uh, but not that much, sir. Like I'm just fresher, sir.
Okay. And what about Murli? Are we aware of object-oriented programming?
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes using the OOPS concept and collections, this type of using in automation testing, and
Mhm,
also maps, this type of using the some I am using in Java, core Java, but Selenium tool.
mhm,
I know that one.
mhm. So some awareness we have. So we will see if we look deeper what exactly object-oriented programming is. It deals with working with objects as components. See, in Java totally follows object-oriented programming. There are some features that are filtered. Right, we will see those features, those that are filtered out, and those that are actually implemented. So this object-oriented programming deals with working with objects as components. You have to visualize any application as a real life scenario. Now, if we talk of, let's say, a simple object like a bicycle, right? So how is a bicycle made? A bicycle is made. Shall I use a whiteboard? Right? Can you see the whiteboard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi Peter, this is the only backend or like using the front end also? You tell that tutorial.
So again, what is it?
This is the this components are using only backend or front end, or all things are
See,
covered there.
See, this particular core Java part you are talking about, we can build a web application, complete web application using Java-based components. Like if we talk of backend, we can use Spring Boot, all those things to develop backend. For front end, it is preferred nowadays to use React, React.js, or JavaScript-based tools. However, object-oriented programming comes there as well. OOP comes there as well. However, you have to use a different set of language. Now, involves what kind of curriculum we have planned. Kishore, we will be we taking a backend with core Java, Spring Boot, and all on front end? Are we going to do it with React or Angular or JavaScript?
Anyone is, I think maybe one, React or JavaScript tools are you tell that one in future.
No problem. Even
Anyone
with
is, I think maybe some right now in some asking the some people's front end back end developers both taken and also calls get it actually.
okay.
That's why
So
I'm asking actually. But
no problem. No problem. See, the total Java-based application, you develop server-side components.
okay, no.
Java-based application. See, for example, if you want, I will show you the stack. Shall I show you the stack, that stack of technology? If you talk of, if you talk of middleware, right? So at the middle level, we have something called at the base. We have Java or J2SE, right? We have J2SE at the base. So over the stack, we have other technologies like there is servlet, JSP, right? These technologies they serve as a like a middleware, right? So incoming request and all can be processed. At the top of this stack, we have other technologies like Spring Boot, JPA, that is used for Java Persistence API, database connectivity, and all those things, right? So that will be the backend stack, right?
Okay.
And if you talk of with this backend, how will this communicate? How will this backend communicate? You have the front end stack. So front end stack, of course, base is HTML. HTML, wait. For backend stack, we have something called HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That is the base for all frameworks. And above this, we have different frameworks like React and Angular, right? All these frameworks, and there's this environment. This is totally based on Node.js, right? So the data exchange nowadays that takes place, it takes place in JSON format. The data that is frequented between front end and back end is in JSON format. Benefit of that is you develop the disconnected architecture. This you can develop independently. This you can develop independently. Earlier, what used to happen, the front end used to be attached with the backend itself. Like if you are using a JSP, it has to run from the server side. So there was this dependency. Now this is disconnected. So you can develop front end separately and back end separately. That is the benefit. Is this clear?
Yeah, Peter.
Ye- Yeah. So we'll coming back to oops. Coming back to oops.
Oops is your object oriented program.
Object oriented programming. Oops, we are talking about is object oriented programming. Now, what we were discussing, how you will visualize objects in object oriented programming. Coming back to our example, we will take a real life example. If we talk of, let's assume a simple machine like a bike, right? A simple machine like a bike. So, what are the features of a bike? Like it has wheels, it has seat, it has handle, some has pedals, engines. If you are using a motorbike, thing is that how is this bike made? It is made by creating different parts, right? It is not created as a single mold. It has different parts, or what we call as different components, right? Not created as a single mold. It has
Yeah.
different components. Then how do they work? Each component interact with each other. each component interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
And each of them can be identified. Each can be identified separately, right? Right. So this is what we actually want to do through object-oriented programming, create different components that interact with each other, right? And each of them, just a minute, just a minute. I'll share my screen again. So this is what we do in object-oriented programming. We create separate components that interact with each other. So object-oriented programming deals with working with objects as components. So these objects interact with each other. And the purpose of learning object-oriented programming is to understand and implement ways in which objects are created as a separate entity, independent of each other, and then these are combined to form larger machinery. Is this clear? Murli, is this
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Clear.
Ramchandu, Ramchandu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So if you see, I have a diagram, similar lines. We have objects, these are created as components and they interact with each other. Now, objects in programming, how are they created? They are created through classes. So, what exactly a class is? Imagine a builder has to create a building or even a house. Now, before laying bricks and mortar, he needs to define a plan that how this has to be done. This plan has to be provided by an architect. So, what does an architect do? Architect provides us a plan or a design. How a building has to be created. In similar terms, your object-oriented programming requires a design. So that design is called a class. So it's a class, it's a blueprint for an object and define attributes and behavior for an object. Right. So whatever an object constitutes is defined inside a class. We have to create a class as a blueprint for this object. So this class has attributes and behavior. And when this class comes live, when it is what we say instantiated or brought live, every attribute will have its own value. Like for example, we have a class design for an entity called employee. So there are attributes like employee name and address, and then there is how the employee will act or react. So these are called behavior. They are known as behaviors or methods in object-oriented programming. So we'll discuss that in detail. Right. So there are classes and objects. For example, there is a class called bird that has some features like it has wings, legs, or it lays eggs. And then there are different kind of birds that share these features like there's a bird, parrot, peacock and sparrow. They look differently, but they have this common feature. So these are called classes. And when this design is implemented on each different entity, it is known as object of class. It is known as object of class. So this object, it has its own specific characteristics, like it has a state, it has a behavior, and it has an identity. Are you clear up till here? What is a class and what is an object? What is a class and what is an object? Hello. Ramchandu, are you clear with this concept? What is a class and
Yes,
object?
sir. Yes,
Murli,
sir.
and who has joined us? Hari Kumar. Hi
Yes,
Hari.
Peter. Yes. Hi, Peter.
Right. So let's move ahead. If we see characteristics of an object. So there are different characteristics. There is state, behavior, and identity. If we talk of state of an object, to understand state, let's see an example. Like there is a student Jason who is studying in first semester of college. So he has certain attributes like name, age, current semester marks. So let's take attribute marks. So if Jason scores marks above 50 in current semester, he will pass and go to the next semester. So if he scores less, he will fail and will not proceed to next semester. So his state will be passed for fail depending on marks obtained by him. So what is the state dependent upon? If we talk of characteristics like state, it is decided by value of its attribute. So whatever attributes a particular object has, the value of those attributes decides the state of an object. Value of those attributes decides state of an object. Is this clear? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. If we talk of behavior of an object define how it acts or reacts. So if we talk of different attributes, let's see an example of a car. There are different attributes like color, model, seating capacity, speed. But how does a car behave? And different functionalities inside a car can start, stop, accelerate, brake, can press a horn. So these are functionalities or behavior of a car and what we call as method for a car. It is through a behavior that an object can perform different operations. An object can act or react with the help of behavior. And then there is identity. Every object must have a unique identity with the help of which it distinguishes from other objects. So, for example, there are two students in a class whose name are Kiran in same college. They even sit together. So, how do we differentiate between them? Each of them can have a unique roll number to identify them. Now, equivalent to this, every object should have a unique identity. Every object should have a unique identity. And so, this is what we are talking about classes and objects. So, this is one feature. So, Java totally follows object oriented programming. It is platform independent. Platform independent means how it is platform independent. That's what I discussed. In Java, when you compile a source code, we do not target the operating system. We target the virtual machine. Right? Now, if you target the virtual machine, wherever this virtual machine is installed, your program will be executable on that machine. So this makes our programming language or Java technology totally platform independent. Right? Is this clear? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there is this switcher simple. This program complete programming language is simple to write. We use English. We use object oriented programming. The design or the base design is quite simple. We can write directly on Notepad or we can even use an IDE like Eclipse or IntelliJ to write our application. Secure in different ways. Object oriented programming itself provides certain features. Like, for example, if you are declaring variables, we can increase or decrease the accessibility. Besides this, there is sandbox model. When we dig deeper into Java, we'll discuss sandbox model. This itself represents a kind of sandbox model that your code is compiled first, is converted to bytecode. Then again, when the bytecode is loaded, it is rechecked. Okay. So two times your code is checked for issues. Portable, you can carry the program across networks. You can build a distributed application. So your application is lightweight and portable, robust, that can sustain pressure, fulfill multiple requests, and multi-threaded. You know the meaning of thread? What is a thread in a system? What is a thread in a system? The meaning of thread? Hari Kumar, do we know the meaning of thread? What is a thread?
No, Peter.
It's a widely used term. Your system can run multiple processes at the same time. Your system can run multiple processes at the same time. So when we talk of a single task, in programming terms, it is known as a thread. Programming terms, it is known as a thread. Right. So we can do multiple tasks simultaneously. That self is known as multi-threading. Right. So this multi-threading means that we can perform multiple tasks simultaneously. And there is automatic garbage collection. Automatic garbage collection means if you are running on any application, it will occupy memory. So whatever it has been occupied after the program is over, it has to be cleaned up. So this cleanup takes place automatically and memory is managed automatically by your JVM. Is this clear? Hello. Are these features
Yeah,
clear?
Peter.
Yes, yes.
Now, if we talk of working with Java, so most modern applications today are written using object-oriented programming. So Java has to be written following object-oriented programming methodology. Then there are some language features like it strongly follows object-oriented programming. It's a strongly typed language. Strongly typed language means whatever variables you declare or whatever memory you allocate, memory leakage doesn't happen. For example, I want to store a number. So 4 bytes memory will be allocated and the variable will accept only numeric value. So it is known as a strongly typed language. Then there are some complexities that were there in earlier programming language that from which Java is inspired. Those complexities were removed. Right. So some of the complexities like there's the concept of inheritance. We look into that concept. So from that inheritance, there was a concept of multiple inheritance that has been filtered out because it used to raise some ambiguity. So your complete programming language has been simplified to implement simple features. Right. So this is the basic thing we have to know about Java. These are the basic things. Any queries up till here? Any queries up till here?
No.
Right. Okay. So what we see, yeah, we will stop here and Krishna will take over. Sorry, Kishore will take over.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, hi. Hari, may know, did we contact or you come from like anybody?
Yeah,
I came
Kishore,
from Murali.
From Murali?
yeah,
Where
yeah,
are you?
yeah.
Who gave?
That is my friend actually, but sometimes full stack is learned. That's why prepared.
Okay, Murali Mohan, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what about Hari? Hari Kumar?
Yeah, Murali only referred that person.
Okay, okay. Fine,
He
fine. Yeah,
joined later.
actually, just I want to know. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Fine. So, yeah, you can just ping me on WhatsApp, like if you are interested. So, this actual training will start from this Friday. Okay.
Sure, Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay. Okay, team. Yeah, you can ping me, Hari, your number, your also, if you have any questions. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, fine then. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, people. Thanks for joining.
Total, how many days this duration, Peter? Course
Uh,
duration.
Course duration. I'll ping via Kishore. I think it should not be. See, core Java depends on what stack you have picked up. Core
Okay.
Java, and then there are number of hours actually. I will get you the
Hmm.
details through Kishore.
Okay. Actually, we are trying as a experienced candidate, right? So,
Uh,
is there any real-time projects you are?
there should be.
Any?
That is there in the schedule. Project is there.
Okay.
Project is there in the schedule.
Hmm.
So I will get you the schedule, complete schedules.
Sure, Peter.
Thanks. Thanks for joining.